Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good afternoon, gentlemen.
Good afternoon.
I'm going to beat the drum in a positive way to kind of reiterate what you said in your opening remarks. I actually had a job placement rate of maybe over 95%, but I mean that just goes to the credit of your school and the accomplishments that you have. There's no question businesses need your graduates. I mean, even with me out in public in Lancaster, you have people saying, hey, I need some skilled labor. I've actually recommended maybe they touch base with your school. And with that, and you also touch base on this, but what efforts do you make to work with industry? And a lot of it is in Lancaster. This is an impressive list, by the way, of businesses. What efforts do you make to work with them to assure that you're providing the skills that they need to work at their companies?
We started the electromechanical program. We're doing residential remodeling. We're looking at a land surveying program here in the near future. The first thing we do is we do what's called a DACM. And the DACM brings in all the industry people. Like Rob and I are going to be meeting with these folks here very shortly. When is it, another couple of weeks or so? People that own land surveying companies, people who practice in that field. And we come in and we say, okay, listen, this is what we're thinking about doing. We see the demand that's here. We're looking at Department of Labor statistics. We can see that this is a projected need now and significantly into the future. We feel that this meets up with our mission and the things we're trying to accomplish. So tell us what the curriculum should look like. And that's called what DACM is. So we'll spend a day or two with them, 8 hours, and they'll volunteer their time. They'll come in, and we will create that curriculum based on that, plus what we know they need from a broader education, because we have 25 credits of liberal arts or general education, English, math, science, social science, and so forth. Because we're trying to create, it's more than just a job. It's supposed to be around, well, somebody can participate in a democratic society. So we're doing those things. Then we create the curriculum, and then we create an industrial advisory committee. And where most places, if they have one, it meets once a year or something. Ours meets almost on a monthly basis. They meet with the faculty. Dr. Nye and other people attend that meeting. And we sit there and we listen and we say, look, this is what we're thinking about, this is what we're doing. Before we did that drug testing policy, we were doing it for our own safety of our students, because we find that students come to college these days with substance issues. And we can't have that when we build houses. As part of our curriculum, we do a lot of things that are hands-on where their safety and the safety of other students is at risk. But we also understood it from an employment standpoint. The first thing that our students are going to go through when they graduate is they're going to be drug tested when they go out for the job. So why would we invest resources for 2 years if, in fact, they're not going to do that? We ran that by all of our industries. We had, what, 350 or 75 companies that said, please do that. That's the first thing that let's not waste time here. Let's do that right up front. So we meet with them on a regular basis. We let them see the curriculum. They meet in our labs. They look at the equipment. We applied for a DCED grant a year ago. We did a Shark Tank presentation for it. And we wanted to apply for a piece of equipment that our faculty said they thought they wanted. We talked to the Industrial Advisory Committee and said, that's not what we want. We want a Swiss turning machine. So our request for that piece of equipment changed to what the Industrial Advisory Committee. So that is the way. We do a number of things to find out how we're doing, okay? We ask our graduates how they felt their education was when they graduated, and we keep doing that for like 5 years. We ask employers to rate our graduates after they've graduated, and we look at that employee results as well, the results of the employees. All those things shape what we do, because that's the purpose of what we're doing.
Well, you're clearly doing something right, because you're a valuable asset to the Commonwealth, and through the list of businesses, certainly a lot of those are in Lancaster, in my area too. And I just wanted to give you a shout out there. I do want to follow up now more specifically on the budget. Mm-hmm. The governor's budget proposal recommends $13.2 million in funding for 2015-16. That's an increase of $863,000, mm-hmm. or about 7%. Over what the college was appropriated in the prior year. I see the college that you've already set tuition for the upcoming year with an increase of $150, or about 2%. How did you decide on that increased amount while we're still kind of proceeding with the hearings?
Say that last part.
How did you decide on this increase amount?
The increase in what?
The 2%, or the $150.
For tuition, you're saying?
Correct.
We actually rescinded that. Okay, we talked to the board about that because, first of all, we really try, we understand our students, whether they're what we call Stevens Grant students, the 51 or 58% of the students who we support through a Stevens Grant, which goes back to Thaddeus Stevens and our mission, which means our students only have to pay the estimated family contribution. We pay for their tools, their room, board, and so forth and so on. So when we look at that tuition, so on our tuition-paying students, and many of them are not in great financial condition as well. They're barely making it. So tuition for us is not a way to make up the deficit. We know we're going to be we subsidize our tuition-paying students significantly. So it's kind of, it's just something that we do, and we talked about it, and we said, you know, if they've recommended 7% for us and we get something, we're just not going to do it. So if you look at our tuition increases, they have been absolutely minimal. So we talked to the board, and the board said, let's just take that off the table. So we did take that off the table. It was in that original budget document that you're looking at, but we did remove that. So we will not have a tuition increase this coming year. And again, it's a small part of what we're doing. It's not really going to cover the shortfalls. The thing that drives our expenses, honestly, are probably the benefits and things that we pay, the pension cost, the health care cost that continue to go up every year. That's what drives, the primary driver in our expenses. Personnel costs are probably one of our largest ongoing expenses. And that's what we try to cover with any increases that we pass on.
No, I really appreciate that. Like I said, I'm just going off the data. I thought I would
Yeah.
ask the question.
That's
As I
true.
said, you guys have done a great job and continued success.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.